timetable. That's why we have this class. Yes. So you are able to see the screen, right? So you are able to see the screen. So you are able to see the screen, right? Voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyway, so we'll start our discussion. So I hope the previous class videos are also available. So we have discussed random variables, the probability density function, then probability distribution function, and I think all those the important properties and other things also we have discussed. And finally we have come to this movements also. Okay. So what do we mean by the movements, and then the alternative way of describing this random variables. So here I think the last class I said we have introduced this expectation operator. So like this, or sometimes we also denote like this. Okay. So where the expectation of g of x of any function, say you can write this as minus infinity to infinity. So g of x. So d capital P x of x dx. Okay. So any of you remember what type of integral is this one? I told you, right, there is a speciality with this integral. Sorry, there is no dx here. Okay, so this is a very special integral actually. Okay, what do we call this integral? We told right in the last class. So what is the speciality of this integral? What do we call this integral as?
Riemann-Stiel's integral.
Riemann-Stiel's integral. Okay, because the derivative here it is not dx, so it is basically d capital Px of x. So finally we have said that this can be written as minus infinity to infinity. So g of x and then P of x dx actually. Okay, so this is how we write. So this is what we say Riemann-Stiel's integral. So anyway, moment of inertia and all those things are also examples for this integrals itself. Okay. Now to find out moments, so we take gx as some x of n itself. So we have defined what is the 0th moment gives us. So when n is equal to 0, say. So what is that we get? We get. So what is the value of this one? We wrote in the last class, right?
It is 1, sir.
1. So it is nothing but you see the area under the. See, when x to the power of 0, when you take, so what happens? X to the power of 0 is 1, so it simply becomes
area under the probability density
function itself. So obviously we know the area is 1 itself. Now what is expectation of x? Now when n is equal to 1, what do we get?
We get mean.
It is what we call as a mean value. Then we have x square say. Okay, so we get x square, this one, that is a mean square value. So like that we can define all kinds of movements actually. But generally in practice say, so what everybody does is we also use, instead of movements, we use the central movements. So these are much more convenient in practice. Okay, so they are defined like this: expectation, x minus mu whole to the power of n. So these are all the moments which are defined with respect to the mean value. So where mu is the mean value. Okay. So now here also, so you can find out when n is equal to 0, what do we get? What is expected value of x minus mu whole to the power of 0? What is this value? See that integral. What is e to the power of this one? So minus infinity to infinity x minus mu whole to the power of n px of x dx. So this is my this one. So now when I take n is equal to 0, so what do we get?
Then it will become 1 itself, the integral.
It is nothing but the area under the probability density function itself. Now what is n is equal to 1? That means expected value x minus mu this one. So what is this expression? x minus mu px of x dx. Do this integral, tell me what is this value? Now what is this value? So now we split it into, so what do we get? So x into px of x dx minus, minus infinity to infinity. So mu into px of x dx. So what is the value of this one? What is this quantity? The first integral? Now what is minus infinity to plus infinity? X into px of x dx.
So mu.
That is nothing
mean.
but the mean itself. Okay, this is nothing but expected value of x, which is nothing but mu only. You followed. So the first one is mu. The next one says, see, mu is constant. So mu you can bring outside. So minus infinity to infinity, say px of x dx. Now tell me what is the value of this integral?
0.
No, this integral is how much?
1, sir.
1. So finally you will get mu minus mu, which is 0 actually. Okay. So the first central movement is 0, because anyway we are everything, we have centered around the mean value. This is a very important thing. Okay. So the mean becomes, the 0. Now the second central movement also, so you can find out. So x minus mu you follow, right? The whole square kind of thing also we have. So expected value, say x minus mu whole square. Okay. So this is minus infinity to infinity. So x minus mu whole square, say px of x dx. Now what do we call this movement as? The second central movement. What's the physically, what do we call this one? Now, what do we call this? You would have used, right, in statistics and many, this one. So this we call as
mean square.
Variance.
It is a variance. You follow, right? So this we call as variance, and generally what type of symbol we use to describe variance? Mean is generally denoted by mu. The symbol we use in statistics or probability. So variance is indicated by what symbol we use? You remember sigma square, we use like this. And what is the square root of variance?
Standard deviation.
Standard deviation actually. So this you follow, right? We call it standard deviation. You follow. So sometimes, in some textbooks, you say the standard deviation is there. Sometimes they also call this as a dispersion also. You follow. Or sometimes if you use a financial terms, so they also call this as, volatility. Okay. In finance, generally, volatility also, they use it. And why this standard deviation is used, the reason is follows. What are the units of mean value? See, if x, whatever random variables, let us say this is in, some centimeters, say, okay, the random variable unit is in centimeter. So what will be the unit for mean? What is the unit will be there for mean?
It will be also in centimeters.
Excellent. It also will be centimeter actually. Now, what will be the units of standard, this variance? Variance will be, what will be its units? See, variance is x square, that is x minus mu whole square. So what will be its units? See this one, it is square, you followed, right? So what will be the units of variance?
Centimeter square.
Centimeter square only, you followed. So now what will be the units of standard deviation?
Centimeter.
Centimeter only. So this why standard deviation is widely used in practice is mean unit is also centimeter, whereas standard deviation is also centimeter only. You followed. Both of them will be, the same units, and some advantages it will have. Okay, in practice. So generally people use, instead of variance, we use the standard deviation in practice, because if the units are same, say you can compare mean with standard deviation, that coefficient of variation and so many other things will come into picture actually. Okay. Now the third movement, say, that is a expected value. x minus mu whole cube actual. Okay, and generally in central movements we do, you know, if you normalize, so now what will be the units of this x third movement generally? No. So what will be the units of third movement if x is in centimeters?
Centimeter cube.
Centimeter cube it will be there. Okay, so generally what we do in practice is, if I want to normalize, if I want to use non-dimensionalize actual, okay, that means no units, so we divide this by sigma cube actual. Now what will be the units of this one if I divide by sigma cube? See, these units are centimeter cube. What is the denominator?
Centimeter cube.
Centimeter cube. So numerator centimeter cube, denominator of centimeter cube. So what are the units of this skewness? So this becomes
Unitless.
Non-dimensional actual. Okay. So this we use it in practice actual. So this quantity we call as, you know, the skewness. Okay. So this is what we call as, you follow, right, the skewness. And if the distributions are symmetric distributions, say, okay. Generally, you know, the distribution is symmetric actual. So now, you know, what will be the skewness? So like, for example, normal distribution. So what will be the skewness? Generally, it will be 0. Okay, it will be 0. So now we can have, apart from this set, like, you know, positive skewness we say. Okay, so the distribution is like this. Something like this. Okay, so this is what we call as, you know, positive skewness. When the skewness is positive, say, so the distributions, you know, like this are right skewed also, you know, we say. Okay, or suppose the distribution is this one, say, so generally you followed, so something like this we have actually. Okay, I think I should draw properly. Okay, so something like this. So this is what we call as a negative skewness, or sometimes we also call this as left skewed actually. Okay, so symmetric means, you know, perfect, you follow, so something like this. So for this skewness is 0. You follow, right? So this is what mean by skewness actual. So skewness tells you, you know, where your things are this side or that side, or your distribution is symmetric or not. So this is a very, you know, the important, you know, another movement which is widely used in practice. Then we have the fourth movement actually. So this also we use it in practice, you know, many important things. Okay, so that is expected value, say x minus mu whole to the power of 4 actual. So here also, you know, to non-dimensionalize, we divide this by sigma to the power of 4, so that, you know, it becomes non-dimensional, no units. Okay, and it is given by, you follow, right? So this expression anyway you can write yourself. So minus infinity to infinity. So x minus mu whole to the power of 4 px of x dx actually. Okay, so this is what you see the kurtosis. And generally for normal distributions, what is the kurtosis value? Any of you remember? For normal distribution, what is the kurtosis value?
So 3.
3 it will be. Okay, so generally in practice, you know, what people do is they describe kurtosis with respect to normal distribution. So they do like this actual. Okay, so generally, you know, many softwares say kurtosis means they write like this: 4 divided by sigma to the power of 4 minus 3. So this is a definition of kurtosis actually. Okay, so when you use this definition, say, so for normal distribution, what is the kurtosis value?
0.
No, it will be 0 actually. Okay, so that is how, you know, with respect to normal, you know, so normal distribution is taken as basis. Okay, so this is what is the kurtosis concepts. Now here also we have negative kurtosis and positive kurtosis. So generally there are some names have been given. If the kurtosis is negative, say, because you are subtracting minus 3 or something like that. So this they call as, you know, leptokurtic actually. Okay, So these are some terms they use. Then if it is a positive kurtosis, we call this as a plateau kurtic. And then if it is zero, that means perfectly it is normal distribution. This one, so this we call as mesokurtic. Okay, so these are some technical, the terms will be there, and the kurtosis will be something like this. So if this is my normal distribution, I say. Okay, so this is my normal distribution. So now positive kurtosis will be something like this. You followed? So this is the positive kurtosis, and this is 3, okay, or 0 you can say. Okay, now negative kurtosis, it will be something like this. No, so I actually draw properly. No, so negative kurtosis means something like this. You followed, right? So this is the negative kurtosis we say. Okay, and now what does it tells you? So what do you mean by positive kurtosis and negative kurtosis? What is that your observation is? And you compare with normal distribution, say. So normal distribution is this one, okay? So you compare with normal distribution and tell me what do you mean by positive kurtosis? What is physically, what is that you are trying to get it? So what is the physical meaning of this one? What is meant by positive kurtosis? You compare with normal distribution. Physically, what is that you look at? What is happening at the distributions? Now, what is happening with positive compared to normal distribution? See, normal distribution is like this, okay? Positive kurtosis means it is something like this. So what is happening for positive kurtosis? Now what's happening? And we all know that the area under the probability density function has to be whether it is a leptokurtic or a plateau or mesokurtic, say whatever it be, but always the area under the probability density function should be how much?
1.
1. Now you tell me. Now you compare with with normal distribution. So what is happening for positive kurtosis?
Positive one, it possesses higher peak.
Higher peak. So higher peak, that is perfectly fine. So now probability of what type of thing, where probability is higher? Probability of getting what value is higher in positive? What is probability for which it is higher? For class law. So now what is the probability of which is higher? So it is peaked, that is perfectly fine. So whose probability is higher? What is this value?
Mean.
0.
Mean value, you followed. So now positive kurtosis, what does it tells you? The probability of getting around mean value, okay? So this is, you followed it, much higher. So that's what we say. Now suppose if it is, this other kurtosis, negative kurtosis or whatever. So now what is happening for negative kurtosis? So what is happening? Around the, so now where the data points are more actual, okay? So if you try to compare this with normal distribution or this one, see now when you are having lot of data, so like you said 10,000 points are there. Now in this 10,000 points, suppose if it is positive kurtosis, that means the around 10,000 means around 9,800 points. Majority of the points are located around the mean value basically. Now, when if it is a leptokurtic, so that is a negative kurtosis, what is happening is if we are having 10,000 values say around the mean value, maybe you will be having 5,000 or 4,000. This one, the more number of values are distributed actually. You followed at the extreme values also. You follow. So that's what you see. It means. So generally, the negative kurtosis, okay, the meaning is our kurtosis is something like how you see the extreme values are dispersed around the data. Okay, are dispersed around the data about the mean value. Okay, or sometimes so this is what it says, and it also gives you how much peak actually. So generally kurtosis actually tells you how much peak is the distribution. You followed. So this gives you, and sometimes the kurtosis whatever value say. So people also says it is something like the width of the distribution also. So these are some important things. Okay. So now if it is a positive kurtosis, tell me what if it is a positive kurtosis say. So the chance of getting extreme values will be higher or more. And if it is a negative, this type of kurtosis is say. So where the chance of getting extreme values are higher. So this is a positive and this is negative kurtosis. So now negative kurtosis means what will happen to this extreme values, large values. The probability is higher or lower compared to this one?
Will be higher.
It will be higher. So now positive kurtosis means always your values will be around the mean itself. Negative means there is a chance of getting the extreme the values itself. That's what the kurtosis is. So kurtosis means it tells you how extreme values are dispersed about the mean value, and then it also gives you how much peak is the distribution. See, sometimes people get confused between kurtosis and standard deviation generally. You followed. Both are even movements only. A standard deviation, what does it gives you? Standard deviation generally it gives you the dispersion. That is, how the data is dispersed around the mean value. That is what is given by the standard deviation. Kurtosis is also some type of a dispersion only, but here a kurtosis, what it tells you essentially is how the extreme values actual. So it tells you, where extreme values are there. That is a ratio, say how many probability of these extreme values and probability around the mean values. So this is given by the kurtosis actually. So if you are interested in extreme values, so that is some rare events or large magnitude earthquakes or something extreme kind of events, kurtosis will tell you follow, right? Will give you that type of the information. Standard deviation will not give you. Standard deviation generally gives you the dispersion around your data itself. Okay, so these are some of the very important movements which are widely used in practice actually. Okay, so if you work with some amount of data set, you will know this kurtosis itself. Now, so now this kurtosis, now there is one more thing what we call as characteristic functions. Oh, sorry. No. Okay, now to generate these movements, there is also characteristic function also we say. Now apart from this kurtosis, fifth movement, sixth movement, seventh movement, eighth movement also one can compute, but they are very difficult to give a physical meaning and very difficult to understand. So generally in practice, we go only up to the first four movements itself. Okay, so now another way of getting the movements is through characteristic functions. So this is also very interesting thing in the probability theory. So it is an alternative way. Okay, of characterizing randomness also. And this is an alternative to calculate movements also. See now here how we are calculating the movements. See, movements are calculated by this expectation operator. So if you want to calculate the movements, what is that you have to do? What type of mathematical operator is this? What is that you have to do?
Integration.
You have to do integration. Okay. Now sometimes integration will be difficult actually. Okay, so now we can have an alternative way also. So this way it is what we call as the characteristic function are this one. So they are generally defined through Laplace transform or Fourier transform. Okay, or Fourier transform also we use. So this is an alternative way. We will show you. Like for example, so they are indicated by the symbol phi. Okay, of SSA. So minus infinity to infinity. So Px of x is my probability, that is density function. So e to the power of Sx dx. So this is the Laplace transform of my, the probability density function. So this we call as the characteristic function. Okay. Or instead of Laplacian transform, say we also can take, the Fourier transform also. So Px of x e to the power of I omega x into dx. So this is also we call as the characteristic function. Okay. So we can R. This is nothing but an expectation operator. You followed, right? So the phi of s say is, you can also write this as expectation operator of e to the power of sx or expected values. So e to the power of sx also we can write. So this is my this expression itself. Now this expectation operator said, so this Laplacian operator you can expand, that is so this e to the power of sx, so right, expansion for e to the power of x. So what is expansion for e to the power of x? Now in mathematics you would have studied, no, how do you write e to the power of x? What is expansion? You remember that expansion. What is that expansion? You expand, right, in terms of polynomials. E to the power of x, expansion, you remember e to the power of x, 1 plus
x plus x square by 2
x
plus
square by 2
factorial.
factorial, you remember, right? So now this, if you expand in terms of that expression 1 plus sx plus s square x square by 2 factorial plus x cube by 3 factorial. So like that, this is my expansion for e to the power of sx. Okay, so this I can take the expansion in inside. So this also I can write this as expectation operator of this. S is anyway a constant, x plus s square by 2 factorial, say x square plus s cube by 3 factorial, say. So the expectation I will take it inside. So I can get, I can also write, you follow, right, like this also. So now, so if I take d phi, say, so d phi of s by ds. So if I differentiate this function with respect to x actual, okay. So now what happens in this derivative here? So this is a constant value, so this goes away. So I have s here, okay. So I will get, so the derivative will be x plus s square by 2 will be 2s by 2 factorial, okay, x square plus 3 times s square by 3 factorial, then x cube, like this. You see, I will have like this expression. And then if I do say d phi of s by ds, and substitute s is equal to 0. Now what happens if you substitute s is equal to 0 in this derivative? So all the higher order terms, wherever s is there, it gets vanished. Finally, I will get like this actually. What is this value? This is nothing but So what is this operator? This is nothing but
mean.
Mean value, expectation of x only. You followed. So both are set. This, like, we can introduce by the symbol or so. Now the same derivative, say if I do d square phi of s by ds and dump s is equal to 0, what do we get? So now we are doing 2 times derivative. This is 1 time derivative. Now if I do 2 times, say what happens? This one goes away, and then I am substituting s is equal to 0. What I will get?
Second moment.
It will be
Second moment.
that is x square. So this is second moment actually. You followed x square. So now similarly say, so you can try, so d cube phi of s by ds, and then you substitute s is equal to 0, say, okay. So I will get my third moment actually. So this way I can get my moments also. You followed. So now how to calculate moments? So if I want to calculate directly from the probability density function, say, I have to do what type of mathematical operator we have to do? No. See, if I want to find out from that probability density function, so what is that you have to do?
Differentiate n time.
From the probability density function, you have to calculate
Integration.
integration. You have to do. You remember? So this was our expression actually. Now, if I now what is that we have done? We have not done anything. Instead of talking in terms of probability density function, I am talking about its Laplace transform actually. Once I have converted into Laplacian domain or Fourier transform, say. Now, how I am calculating the moments? What is that operation we have done here?
Differentiation.
What type of operation we are using? What is this operator?
Differentiation.
Differentiation actually. So it is same only. If you so sometimes if you are comfortable with probability density function and if you want to calculate moments, say you have to do integration. So sometimes for some distributions, say integration may be different, but derivative may be easy actually. So then you have to take one say integral of your the probability density function. Then you differentiate. Say you will get my moments also. Now similarly, so Fourier transform also one can use. That is a phi of omega. So this is expected value of e to the power of I omega x. So this also you expand in terms of that e to the power of x expansion set. Okay. So I can write this 1 plus I omega x plus I omega whole square x square by 2 factorial like that so this is my expansion. Now this also I can write this as expected value of 1 set. Okay. Plus I omega I can make outside expected value of x. So like that I omega square by 2 factorials expected value of x square. So like that we can do this expansion also. So here also I can find out all my movements, but only thing with Fourier transform and Laplace transform, the difference is there it was yes, but now I have this imaginary number will be there. Okay, so I have to do this one also. Phi of omega by say d omega to the power of n and omega is equal to 0. So this is how I can calculate the moments. Okay, by differentiation also. Suppose if we are doing Laplace transform, say there will be no I, so directly you can calculate from this expression, or Fourier transforms I can calculate from this expression also. So both are same only. So sometimes integrations are easy, sometimes derivatives are easy. So it is up to you actually. Sometimes we talk in terms of probability density functions. If things are complicated, you can talk in terms of its Fourier transform also or Laplace transform also. But finally, everything will give you the same, the thing itself. And sometimes, in practice, people instead of talking in terms of movements, they also use cumulants also. This also, but this is slightly, so this is defined as a log of characteristic function. So you have already the characteristic function, you take logarithm of that one say, and then you define these cumulants in terms of this thing. So the derivatives of this, the logarithms. And omega is equal to 0. So this also, people use it in practice, cumulants, okay? They are also movements only, but, they say that they will give you physically, more this one compared to this movements itself. So this also, people use it in practice actually, okay? So this way, so many variety things are there to describe a random variable. So to just summarize, say, like if I have a random variable x, okay? So how do I describe this one? So one way is I have my random variable and I have its probability distribution function. Okay, I can describe like this also. Another way is, instead of talking in terms of probability distribution, say, I can also talk in terms of density function also. So this is one way of describing things. And another way is, instead of talking in terms of probabilities, I will talk in terms of moments actually. Okay, or central moments also. You follow? So this is another alternative, and another way is through this characteristic function also. Okay, or you can describe the same thing in terms of cumulants also. Okay, so like, but here how many moments are required? No. So to describe randomness, how many moments are required? No. Say to describe the randomness, how many movements are required? It will, you can easily see from this expressions. Now, see for a characteristic function, say if I want to construct the characteristic function, I have to calculate this expectation. Now if e to the power of x expansion is this one. So now to get the characteristic functions, how many movements are required? So this is my first movement, second movement, third movement. Say to find out phi of s, how many movements are required? Now,
N number of movements.
Here infinite basically. Okay. So to describe phi of s, you require n movements, and so phi of s anyway is the Fourier transform of px of x. So if I want to find out px of x from the movements, then I should require infinite movements are required. Okay. So that is the most the important thing. So n is infinity. So physically this many are required for this as well as for this actually. Okay. So these are some alternatives. So to describe uncertainty, so you can have several variety of ways itself. Okay. So now let us see commonly what are the random variables. Okay. So now to describe randomness, so you can do this or this or this or this or this. All of them are same only. So now sometimes if integrals are easy to compute, say you go with density, if derivatives, and then you go with this one. So it depends on your choice. Okay. Sometimes you may not have probability density function. If you know movements, say from that also you can construct your you can characterize the uncertainty. Okay. So that is how we try to characterize randomly. Now let us see what are the commonly encountered random variables in practice. Okay. Now what is the simplest random variable any one of you know? What is the simplest random variable? Easy, very easy random variable. Now any of you have heard it? It is very easy. See, if it is a deterministic variable, how many outcomes will be there? If it is a deterministic variable, if I say that Young's modulus of concrete is is not random variable, so how many outcomes will be there? Now, see compressive strength of concrete or rainfall, if it is a deterministic quantity, say how many outcomes will be there?
Sir, infinite number of.
No, that is if I assume that compressive strength is random, okay. But if I assume compressive strength is a deterministic variable, so how many outcomes are possible? So if I say rainfall is not random variable at all, okay. So how many? What is the value we will get? See, deterministic, we started in the first class, right? What do you mean by uncertainty? What do you mean by uncertainty? See, uncertainty means what? What's the definition of uncertainty?
Many possibility.
Many possibilities. Now I am saying that compressive strength is not uncertain. So now what is that value? If it is not uncertain, how many outcomes are possible?
One, sir.
Only one. So deterministic means how many values are possible? Only one only. So now when I say if it is random, say then infinite or whatever things will come. Okay. Now among the simplest random variables, okay, this is Bernoulli random variable. So where you have only two outcomes actually. You followed. So this is what we call a simplest random variable. Now, so simplest random variable means it will have two outcomes. Suppose if it has one outcome, say what type of random variable it is? If it is having only one outcome, what is your comment?
It's a deterministic values. There is no randomness.
There is
There
no
is no
random. That's what. So there is no randomness. It is a deterministic quantity only. You followed. So randomness means several possibilities are there. The simplest random variable you can imagine is two outcomes actually. If it is one outcome, anyway it is a deterministic. There is no uncertainty. So simplest means two outcomes actually. 3, 4, 5 outcomes means anyway the complexity is more, but two outcomes is the most simplest random variable we have. So this we call as the Bernoulli random variable. So Bernoulli random variable is the simplest random variable which you can think of actually, because you will be having only two outcomes only. Okay, if it is one outcome, anyway it's a deterministic thing. So a lot of examples are there. You followed, right? Head and tail, or you followed, right? Success, failure, say. You will be having, right, in many times. Or if I am talking about my building, say safe, unsafe. Okay, so two type of outcomes are there. So now this random variables, it is essentially head and tail, success, failure, or something. So we have told you, right, how do we handle this one? How do we characterize? So generally for this type of random variables, the outcomes are not numbers actual. They are something subjective kind of quantity. So what is that we have to do to describe this type of things? The sample space is not even this. What did we say tell in the random variable definition? How to construct the probability density or distribution function for this? No.
We have to convert it to random variables.
No, we have to map it to. No. What do you mean by random variable? Now, how do we convert that one? Tell me. What is random variable? No.
So we transform the sample space to some real life using
Real
these
life.
random variables.
Excellent. So now what is that we did? Head we will transform to 0, tail we transform to 1, or you can transform head to 1 or tail to 1 or whatever. Okay. Now probability of head say is P. Okay, and probability of tail actual will be 1 minus P. Okay. Of course, success, failure, or safe, unsafe. So you can write this one. So now this is my probability distribution function. It is a direct delta. Okay, so 0 and I have 1. So it's the probability distribution, say. I can write probability density, sorry. So this will be, I can write this as P delta x minus 0 plus 1 minus P delta x minus 1. So this is my probability density function actually. So because I have to express this in terms of direct delta functions. Okay, and now what is the mean value? Calculate its mean value. Now what is the expected value of x? Px of x dx. Calculate its, do this integral. Tell me what is the value you get quickly. So Px of x is this expression where you are having direct delta functions. Okay, now do this integral and tell me. How much you get as a mean value? See, any of you have got answer? Now, what is the answer you have got? Do this integral. So this integral you have to do. See, basically it's an integral, but how many outcomes are there here? Outcomes are continuous or discrete here?
Discrete.
Discrete, 0 or 1. What is the mean value? Tell me. So you have to do the integral. Otherwise, you will not get it. Minus infinity to infinity. What is the one value you will get? 0. You followed. So and it is a p into delta of x minus 0 or delta x. Okay, then the dx will be there plus minus infinity to infinity. So 1 is the value. 1 minus p dx. So now what do we get there? So this anyway is 0 here. So this turns out to be 1 minus p minus infinity to p delta x minus 1 dx. Tell me what is the value of this integral? What is the value of this integral? That's the area under the direct delta function delta x minus 1.
1. It's 1.
So that means the value is
1 minus p.
1 minus p. Now suppose if I have transformed head to 1 say, then a tail to some 2, then what happens? So head is transformed to 1, tail has been dumped to 2 actually. Okay, now what will be the mean value? So then what happens? How you have to write this one? So the first integral will be 1 p delta x minus this 1. Then other one will be the 2 into 1 minus p into delta x minus 2. So this type of expression will come. Then what is the mean value? The first one also will be now what happens now? This is the first one because head has been transformed to 1, tail has been transformed to 2 say. Now what happens? So 1 into p into delta x minus 1, then other one will be 2 into 1 minus p into delta x minus 2, and anyway the area under the direct delta function is
1.
1. So now tell me what is the value? 1 times p plus 2 into 1 minus p you get. So what is the value here? So what is the value now?
2 minus p.
2 minus
P.
2 minus p will be there. So now, so it depends actually how you have mapped this to the real line. So now it is 1 minus p is the mean value. Somewhere here you follow, right? You will get that number itself. Okay, so this is how you have to compute the mean value. Now you compute the variance. Tell me, any of you can compute the variance? This integral you have to compute. Tell me what is the value of this integral? Do and quickly tell me, any of you? Any of you got the answer? Same thing, principle you have to follow. We followed it. It's straightforward actually. How you computed the mean, same thing only. Now, what is the value? Any of you? So the first is 0 and we are having 1. Mean value is how much? You followed 1 minus p. So now you have to do 1 minus p whole square. So p delta x minus 0 dx plus we have another integral actually. What will be here? So 1 minus p whole square 1 minus p delta x minus 1 dx actually. Now tell me what is the value you get finally. After doing anyway, you see the integral will go to the direct delta function. So what's the area under the direct delta function? Basically area under direct delta function is
1.
1. So you do that little bit algebra here. So this turns out to be p into 1 minus p. So this is the variance. So now this is the variance. Now the standard deviation will be set. P into you see 1 minus P. So this is my standard deviation actually for this Bernoulli random variable. So if you know the probability set, so you can easily calculate all our the numbers itself. Okay, so this way you can easily solve you see the Bernoulli random. So there are a lot of examples are there. You can easily the find out actually. Now another commonly encountered which comes from this Bernoulli random variable is this the repeated Bernoulli trials we say. Okay, that means you are repeating the Bernoulli trial not once, several times actually. So like for example, say now if you are taking any course in our IIT or whatever, okay. So how many outcomes are there in a course? See, suppose if you are taking a course actually, okay. So now if you want to simplify this one, so how many outcomes are possible in a course? How many outcomes are there?
Pass or fail.
I'm unable to hear you. Tell me how many outcomes are there? So if you are doing this course, structural reliability, how many outcomes are possible? How many outcomes are there for this course? So like when you have done reliability course, what is the output finally? You will be given
Grades.
Grades. So how many grades are there?
A, B.
So yes grade you can have, A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade you follow, right? And of course E is also there. 6 are there, and of course fail is a 7th grade actually. Anyway, 7 outcomes are there. Now to simplify our analysis, okay, so we say that if you are doing any course, 2 outcomes only are there. One is a pass, other one is fail actually. Okay, so generally in a given course, say it is not Bernoulli random variable because you are having more than 2 outcomes. Now for simplicity, we are assuming that if you are doing any course, we have only 2 outcomes, so that it becomes a Bernoulli random variable. So pass or fail itself. Now let us say you are doing 3 courses in this semester. Okay. Now how many outcomes are there? So 3 courses in a semester, say. So you will be having 3 courses you are doing. So and each course has 2 outcomes. One is a pass or it is a fail actually. And let us assume that all these are independent. Okay. What do you mean by independent? When I say independent, say so outcome of one course doesn't influence the outcome of another course actually. Okay, that means that is how we are assuming here all 3 courses are independent or whatever you have. Now how many, what is the sample space now? Tell me how many outcomes are possible. Now each course has pass and fail, and like that you are having 3 courses actually. So now what is the sample space now? So you are doing 3 courses. Each course has pass and fail actually. 2 outcomes are there. So how many possibilities are there? 3 courses for 3 courses. So you can have all 3 courses. You can what are the outcomes?
So total
All
6.
can be
Pass all can fail.
pass, or you can have
All fail.
so all pass, fail also. Then pass in one course, fail in second course, like this also. Then you have fail, pass, you followed it. Then FFP, you followed. So you write all possible, the probability. So P, F, okay. All fail also. F actually. Okay. So you can write. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possibilities are there actually. Okay. It's very easy to calculate. So each course has how many? Given courses, how many possibilities?
2.
How many courses you are doing?
3 courses.
So this becomes a 2 cube actually. Okay? This is how we can calculate. So 2 cube is anyway 8. So if you are doing 4 courses, then it becomes
4, 16.
2 to the power of 4. So this is the possibility. This is your sample space actual. Okay. So this is what we call as a repeated Bernoulli trial. So you are not doing one Bernoulli trial, 3 Bernoulli trials I am given you. Okay. So now 3 Bernoulli trials are there. Now how do we handle this situation? So 3 Bernoulli trials and all are independent actually. So now we will say probability say. So we will calculate, number of passes is 3. So that means you will pass all the 3 courses actually. What is the probability? You will pass all 3 PPP. Now in this sample space we are having 8. So PP, what is the probability of getting PPP? It is? Namita, you told, right? What is the PPP?
1 by 8.
1 by 8. Excellent. Okay. Now number of passes is 2. Only 2 courses only you will pass. 1, there is a chance of fail actually. Now how many like this options are there? 2 passes actually. So this is 1, then this is 1. Where is other one? FPP also 2 passes actually. So now what is the probability? Only 2 courses you are passing. Now what is the problem?
3 by 8.
3 by 8, excellent. Okay. So this is 3 by 8. Now probability of number of passes is 1. Only 1 course you will pass. That means 2 fails are there. Now what is the probability? Count and tell me.
3 by 8, sir.
So this is 1. You followed it. Only 1 pass actually. This is also 1. Then this is also 1. So this also is equal to 3 by 8. Now probability of number of passes is 0. That means you will fail in all the subjects actually. What is the probability?
1 by 8.
So this is also 1 by 8. Now if you see these numbers, say you can write beautifully like this actually. 3C3 half Q 1 minus half 3 minus 3. Okay. So this you can write this as 3C2 1 by 2 square 1 minus 1 by 2 3 minus 2. Okay. So 3C 1 by 2 whole cube, sorry, whole 1 by 2, then 1 minus 1 by 2, 3 minus 1 actually. Now this becomes 3C3. Okay, so you can put this 1 by 2 to the power of 0 will be there. 1 minus 1 by 2, 3. You followed. So finally, you can write in terms of nicely, this type of also, or you can write this as K successes or K passes or whatever in N trials. You followed. So this you can write this as NCK P to the power of K and 1 minus P N minus K. So this is what we call as the binomial distribution. You follow. So this is how the binomial distribution comes into picture actually. Okay. So you can see what is the binomial distribution. So binomial distribution comes from what is it is coming from where? It is originally coming
from Bernoulli.
From Bernoulli only. So Bernoulli is the main thing. So if you are doing several Bernoullis, say, then automatically you see the binomial distribution comes into picture. So this problem, so if you plot the probability density function, it looks like this. Okay, so 0 passes. Sorry. So this is my probability density function. So I have 0 pass, 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass. So this is 1 by 8. This is a 3 by 8. This is 3 by 8, and this is 1 by 8 actually. Okay. So this is how the distribution for density function looks like for this typical problem actually. So this is my binomial random variable. Now here also we can find out expected value also. That is a mean value. So that means k is equal to 0 to n. So nck, of course k you have to multiply p to the power of k 1 minus p to the power of n minus k. So you have to do all these summations and others. You can do that one. So this becomes n times p, and its variance say of my binomial random variable, it is np into 1 minus p. So this is my Bernoulli distribution actually. Okay. Now suppose now here you are doing how many courses? 3 courses. Now let us say if you do 4 courses or 5 courses say. Now what happens? If you do 4 courses, 5 courses you followed, right? So you will be having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, many are there. And suppose if there are infinite number of courses, limit n tends to infinity, that you are doing so many courses and each course has only 2 outcomes, say. So one can prove that, nck p to the power of k 1 minus p, say n minus k. So this goes to normal distribution. So one can prove mathematically also that, so that means is p x is equal to k, say. Okay, so you can write this as normal distribution, right? 1 by root of 2 pi sigma will be there. Okay, the sigma is, you have to replace with this one. So this is my sigma and e to the power of, say, okay, minus half. Okay, and mean value is x minus mu by sigma v, right? So mean is this one. And sigma is this is square root of this one. So x minus np by using root of np 1 minus p whole square actually. So you can do from the normal distribution also. Or you can also write this as n. Generally we write as mu comma sigma kind of thing. Okay. So this you can also write this as np and square root of n times p 1 minus p. Okay, so binomial distribution, the repeated same Bernoulli trials, when n becomes very, very large, say, automatically you can approximate through, this normal distribution also. Okay, so now let us, you followed it. One quick, the example we can try. Now, so like for example, say, we will give one example here, one nice example that is about stocks problem I will teach. Okay, so stocks, this one. Now we know that we have some certain stocks are there, like you see the L&T stock or whatever we are having. So we are having the stock market. Okay, so I have a random variable y of t. Okay, so it has 2 outcomes actually. The price, the pricing is something like this. So s of t plus 1, say. So this is a stock price. Tomorrow's stock price will be today's stock price multiplied by this yt. Okay. So this is the tomorrow's price. And this one is today's price. Okay. And this is my uncertainty. Okay. So let us say y of t. So this uncertainty is a Bernoulli random variable. So Bernoulli random variable means how many outcomes will be there? Bernoulli means it should be 2. So y of t can become 0.9 or it can become 1.1 actually. So this is how the Bernoulli random variable this one. And then probability, say, of y of t becoming 0.9 is 0.4, and then probability, say, y of t becoming 1.1 is 0.6 actually. It is not 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay, so that means tomorrow's price, say, that is tomorrow's price. If today's value is s of t, tomorrow's price can become 0.9 times s of t, or it can become 0.9 times s of t with a probability of 0.4, or it can become 1.1 times s of t with a probability of 0.6. That is the meaning of this, the sentence actually. Okay, that is this one. And now let us say we invest the stock for 2 days basically. So 1 day means, 1 day if you are investing means you have only 2 possibilities. That is a 0.9 times s of t or 1.1 times s of t. So now if I am investing for 2 days and let us say today's price is 20 rupees actually. Just for our thing, 20 rupees is today. Now tomorrow how much it can become your 20 rupees? If I invest for 1 day, what is the possibility? Your 20 rupees can become
18 or 22.
If I invest for 1 day, tomorrow what is the price for 20 rupees? It can become
18.
How much? What is the value?
18 or 22.
18 or 22. Let us say 22. That is 1.1 times this one and 0.9 times. So it can become 22 or 18. This is for 1 day. Now if I'm investing for 2 days, say, then Now what can happen? What will be the sample space? Just now we have said, right, in this exam, 2 or 3 times, if you are doing 3 courses, how to find out? 2 cube actual. Now if you are investing for 2 days, say, what will be the sample space? Now you will be having how many outcomes?
2 square.
2 square, that means 4 outcomes. That means where do these 4 outcomes comes? Now suppose 20, it has become 22. Suppose that 1 day value is 22. After 2 days, 22 can become how much value? See, if today's price is 22, say, it can become 0.9 or it become 1.1. What is the value?
19.8
19.8
or 24.2.
24.2. Then another possibility also I have. So 18, if it is 18, say, so 18 into 1, this also becomes 19.8 and then
16.2.
16.2. So this is for 2 days. So you have invested for 2 days, up, or whatever you followed it. Now if I want to ask, say, what is the probability that S2, that is after 2 days, is equal to 24.2? Now, what is the probability? How do you compute? I am asking you, like you say, what is the probability that my stock price becomes 24.2 rupees after 2 days? How do I compute this one using binomial random variable? This is equal to same as telling probability of now. What has happened here when you are going from 20 to 22? So what has happened? It has gone up or down?
Up, sir. It is with
Now
1.
after 22 also, 24.2 means it has gone up or it has gone down?
Up.
So now here also up only, here also up only. You followed. So that means it's a number of ups, say, is 2. You followed. So now how do we calculate? Same, the philosophy, that is, k success in n trials, say, nc k p to the power of k, and then you see. So same philosophy we can use here. So this big, how many times we are doing? 2 times only. So 2c2, okay, p square 1 minus p 2 minus 2 actual. Okay, so this turns out to be, you can find out 1 into 0.6 whole square, because up is 0.6, so this turns out to be 0.36. So this is the probability actual. Okay, now what is the probability of S2 becoming 19.8? That means 19.8. That means what is that one? Now, what is that one? 19.8. What does it mean? How many ups are possible?
1 up, sir.
So now let us say 22 you can have. So this is 1 up, then down actual. Then you will get 19.8. Or you can go down and then 1 up actual, 19.8. So that means you are looking at probability of 1 up. So number of ups, say, is 1 itself actually. You followed. So this you can find out from 2c1. Okay, so p to the power of 1 minus p 2 to the power of minus 1. So this turns out to be, you substitute all those numbers, 0.48 actually. Now similarly, say probability of S2 is 16.2. What is how do you calculate? This is same as
Probability of number of ups equal to 0.
Number of ups is 0. You follow. So same that probability, the binomial random variable you use here. So 2c0, 2c0 we have. So p to the power of 1, I think p to the power of 0 and 1 minus p square. So this turns out to be 0.16 actually. So these are the probabilities. Okay. So you can plot them also. So 0 up, 0 ups are there. Then 1 up is there. Sorry, let me try. So this probability density function, if you plot, say 0 up, 1 up, 2 up actually. So for 0, what is the value? 0 up means it is 0.16. Then 1 up is 0.48. 2 ups is 0.36 actually. You followed. So this is how we can draw the probability you followed, and that is density function. Now suppose if I want to calculate for 50 days, say what you have to do? So how many outcomes will be there? 50 days means we have done only for 2 days. Now 50 days means
So 2 raised to 50.
2 raised to 50. That means the so many outcomes are there, so many things are there. But what is the guideline you can do? What's the easiest way? What's the easiest way when n is large? Say what is happening to your binomial distribution? See, when n becomes large, what is going to happen to your binomial? It goes towards so your binomial distribution when n is large, like 50 days, 100 days, 1000 days, when you're looking, say, okay. Now what happens to your binomial distribution? It automatically goes towards you can see here what is happening. See, all of you are there. So what is happening when n becomes very, very large?
It
Normal
turns out to be
distribution.
normal distribution.
So you can approximate your binomial distribution by a normal distribution itself. Of course, you can do so many options will be there. So 50 days means what happens? So 20 to 18, then 20 to 18 become 24 point to 19 point, it like this. Now here once again you have to do like this. Once again you have to do like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. You have to do. So now your sample space becomes you can have variety of values actually. So right now you are having 24.2, 19.8, 16.2. Now when 50 days is there, then you can have multiplicity you followed where so many values will be there. So you can approximate by this, or you can approximate by a normal distribution also. You followed. So normal distribution means we should compute its value, the mean value and others. So mu becomes n times p. So 50 into 0.6. So this becomes 30. Then standard deviation, say np into 1 minus p. Substitute everything. So this turns out to be 12. So now you can calculate actually the probability. Say my share price will be 15, or my share price say will be 20 rupees, or my share price say is for 100 rupees or whatever. You can calculate from the normal distribution itself. Okay, so this is how you can calculate from binomial also. You can calculate from normal distribution also. You will get the same answer actually. Okay, so that's what you can show also, prove yourself that both of them will give you the same type of numbers itself. So there are variety examples one can give actually. See, like for example, when you're drilling piles. Okay, so drilling the piles, say. So generally, you remember, right, when the soil is not good, people drill the piles actually. So now piles, sometimes the piles can go up to 30-meter depth, or 10-meter piles, or 20-meter piles, So let us say you are drilling a pile up to 10 meters, say. Okay. Now there is a chance of encountering boulders also. You followed. So you may encounter a boulder, or you may not encounter a boulder. So you can divide this 10 meters into 1 meter, 1 meter, say. Okay, so 10. You can divide into half meter or whatever. So 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter, like that. You see. So 10 intervals may be there. You followed, right? Now suppose the people will ask you, say, what is the probability that I will encounter, boulder in you see 2 boulders or 1 boulder in every meter. You followed, right? Every 1 meter, probability of encountering 2 boulders or 3 boulders or 5 boulders, 6 boulders, say. So that you can compute it easily from the the binomial distribution. So like this we can give several examples for the binomial random variable itself. Okay, So fine. So I will stop here. We will continue in our next class. Okay. That is, I think, on Wednesday's class we will continue our discussion. So if you have any doubts, you can ask.